Sorry for that interruption there.
Oh, that's okay.
So, I think what we were just saying was that you have a lot of strengths, you have a lot of social supports, um, but I'm just wondering, like, in the past, when you felt like this anxiety, what have you done to deal with it?
Well, I'm really into working out. I work out a lot. I do Zumba classes. Um, and again, my friends are so ingrained in my life. Like, usually I go to Zumba with a couple of my friends. I'm a huge music fan. I like to go see live music, and I like to um, I play guitar, and so and I've been doing some of that. Like, I've been trying to sort of like, um, you know, use those techniques to sort of get calm. But I feel like this is something, um, it's something that I definitely need to be proactive about, because I can tell the anxiety is building a little
So,
bit.
like, how many times would you say, like, per week you feel like you think about it, you're anxious about it?
I feel like every day, Again, I think because these people are such a big part of my life, and it sort of is one of those things too, where then when I'm at work, I start thinking about work, and I start thinking about telling coworkers, and I guess I just kind of feel like I have to start over a little bit as this like new person,
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes me anxious, but as I said, it's this anxiousness that's sort of combined with excitement. Like, I also, I'm excited to like finally know who I am. Like, I feel like I've spent so much of my life not really knowing why I feel different, and not knowing why I haven't found a relationship that works for me, and not knowing why, I don't feel a connection to certain people. And now I feel like I've figured it out, and it feels, I don't feel crazy anymore. I just feel like, like I'm gay. And
Yeah, and I think that we can also find you some resources too that will sort of make it like not only will you be able to practice coming out, but other ways too that we might be able to process the stress. So if you're playing guitar, you really do feel like you're channeling some of that, and like you feel better when you're done.
I do, and it's sort of a distraction too. It's something that takes me outside of my own head and into this sort of like fantasy place, and that's nice. It's nice to feel, like I have a little reprieve for a while, almost like meditation or something.
Right. Speaking of, have you tried that?
I mean, sort of. I very lightly dabbled in it just because I've taken yoga classes before, and we do, breathing techniques and, like centered meditation and stuff like that. But I've always felt more of a connection to music, and in that way, like, I feel like music is what people describe meditation as for them, quite kind of this quieting, centering thing.
So we want to find the things that works for you, and we'll talk more about that when we start setting some goals for ways that you can deal with this kind of anxious stress that you have going on. But another thing I wanted to talk to you about, and we really didn't touch on last time, was some cultural issues.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say, like ethnicity-wise, how would you identify yourself?
I mean, I identify as Caucasian, but as far as like my heritage, I feel like my parents are very Irish Catholic. Like, I was raised in South Boston, and that's sort of a culture in and of itself. It's like this, very tight-knit community, very, in some ways, conservative and traditional, and very family-focused, and very, very in each other's lives, very up on everything that's going on with everyone around them.
Is that a positive or a negative for you?
I mean, it's a positive in the sense that, like, I feel like I have this community. I've grown up with, like, such a huge extended family, whether or not it's my family or not, like they feel very much like this extension of my nuclear family. And like, you know, I know any of them would do anything for me. Like they have, you know, they pitched in to help me get through school, and they, you know, have, when I had appendicitis, they were all there, and like they're very, very supportive, kind people, but they also like, I think the fear is that I've heard them talk about gay people, and it's not a very positive perspective. So,
right.
you know, and maybe that's my own bias against them, you know, not giving them the chance, and not giving them the chance to like, you know, it, in a perfect world, I would hope that like, oh, I could be this ambassador of change, and I could, you know, change the way they felt about homosexuality, and I could be this example of like, oh, we know someone who's gay and we love her and she's amazing, and, you know, we're her family. But my fear on the other side is that they'll just, you know, that I will go from having this huge extended family to having no one.
Okay, well, we don't have to make that leap right now.
Yeah.
We're taking smaller steps, because when you immediately go to that huge leap, then your anxiety level is kind of going to increase, right? But if we think about telling your friends, where you told me you were out of 6, you know, it brings it back down.
Yeah.
So we'll put that one on the back burner, because I know ultimately that's your goal.
Yeah.
At least that's what you told me last time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that could change, but if it doesn't, that's your ultimate goal. But we don't have to be there yet.
Okay.
And that's what this process is about, right?
Okay.
So the first thing, I guess, in goal setting, now that we're here, you know, we can talk, and that's great, but, you know, we need to make a plan. And so you're definitely a part of that. I would like to know, like, what your priorities are. You know, what's the first thing you want to deal with?
I'd like to tell my friends.
Okay.
Those kind of 4 core friends would be sort of the next logical step for me.
Okay. And in dealing with telling your friends, are there some obstacles that, I mean, other than like what you think might happen, are there other obstacles in telling them that might keep you from doing that?
I think just my own neuroses, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very, with them, I really don't think there's a whole lot of grounding in reality. You know, they're a very liberal group of women. They're very accepting. They have gay friends. As I said, I think my fear is that it will change our dynamic. You know, they'll think of me differently. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that that's even, you know, fair to them or logical.
No, I hear you. So what are some things that we can do to sort of eliminate this anxiety before we get to the point of telling them in that way? Some of these obstacles have been diminished before we get there.
I think for me, like, I would like to sort of, like, it sounds really cheesy, but, like, sort of be able to write down, like, the process that I've gone through to get here, you know, like, I guess one of the things that my friend talked about was a lot of people would ask him, like, well, how do you know? You know, like, I've never had an experience, like, I've never slept with a woman before, but I'd like to sort of have in my arsenal, like, already prepared answers for those questions, kind of like the how do you know questions, you know?
Right, so when you get in a situation, you've already got something prepared that gives the full story, not just pieces of it that they may not get the whole thing. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can write that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound like something that's doable?
Yeah.
Between, like, maybe, how long do you think it would take you to do? I'll let you decide.
Maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay.
Yeah.
What, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say in 2 weeks, you'll have sort of this story of you and how you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll just call it in 2 weeks the how you know. Okay. So in 2 weeks we'll check in, see where we're at with that. How else do you think we can bring down the anxiety levels for you about telling your friends?
Well, as I said, it was actually really helpful for me to talk to my friend who'd already been through this process.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I really, it was hard, we went to the club the other night, I thought, I don't want to ask anyone on a date, I want to use them as, teachers, I want other, and, preferably I'd like women who have been in this situation, who can kind of speak to this experience and talk me through it a little bit,
Okay, so I'm thinking about you guys went to a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best place, or is there somewhere else that you might could go that would provide a more maybe maybe that's fine. That's up to you, but there may be something that provides a more supportive environment.
Well, I was looking online at just sort of groups in my area, like alliance groups and support groups for people in this process, going through this process. My sort of hesitation with bars is that I feel like there's this preconception that you're there to meet someone to sleep with, and so I think these meetings might be a little bit more platonic and a little bit more in an environment where I could do something like that.
Right. Some of these places online might be already set up for this sort of exploration.
Yeah.
So let's look into that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so 2 weeks again, or you maybe between now and the time I see you again?
Yeah, I think I could do that in a week.
Okay, so next week, maybe have checked out some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe one more thing, and it could be related to that. I don't know. Is there anything else that you think that you could do to kind of deal with your anxiety about your friends?
Well, maybe, is it going a step further from just investigating the meetings, like going to one and telling my story there.
Or even kind of taking a step back from that, and this is up to you, but some people find that maybe just talking to someone online, not just investigating it, but actually having a real-time conversation or even an email conversation with someone online might be helpful too.
Yeah, that would be good and sort of less terrifying.
Yeah, maybe so. So we'll give you 2 weeks on that one.
Okay.
So first we're just going to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem doable?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just kind of in the overall goal of telling your friends this is a small step we can take to break it down.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds good.
Okay. And then we're putting the family thing beyond the friends? After? Is that priority number 2? Yeah. Okay. That's okay. So I think part of getting ready to tell the family is kind of accomplishing this friend thing.
Yeah.
So that's part of the overall goal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So in thinking about doing all of this, what would you say your motivation is for it?
I think, as I said, I feel like I can't be in a relationship until I've been honest about myself with these people who are really important to me. And so ultimately, I think my motivation is that I feel like, I'm in my late 20s and I've never really been in a meaningful relationship, and I'm looking for, I'm looking for what most people are looking for. I want to find someone to spend my life with, or at least to go out with,
Sure. But I guess I asked that wrong too. I'm kind of wondering, how motivated are you?
I mean, pretty motivated at this point, just because, I would like to, get to that next stage.
Okay. So between now and the time I see you again, what are we doing?
I'm gonna investigate these groups. I'm gonna, in 2 weeks, write my story, and in that time period as well. So maybe share my story with someone online or in person at one of the groups.
Sounds really great. So, are you ready for it?
Yeah, I feel good.
Okay.
I feel like I got a plan, and like I'm, as I said, I feel like it's already in motion, so it's just gonna take a little follow through now.
Yeah. So I really look forward to hearing about what happens next week.
Thank you.
All
Thanks.
right.
I'll see you next week.
Okay, I'll see you next
Bye.
week. Take care.